I used to think 3:33 a.m. was just a creepy number. You know, one of those urban legend timestamps people throw around for drama. The devil's hour, the witching hour, internet nonsense. But here's the thing nobody tells you. When something starts happening at the exact same minute every night, you stop laughing. You start waiting. And waiting is worse than fear. This started 2 years ago, back when I moved into a one-bedroom apartment on the edge of town. Not some abandoned farmhouse, not a haunted mansion, just a regular apartment building with thin walls, stained carpet, and neighbors who argued about parking spots. Normal. That's what made it worse. Because nothing about this place looked cursed. It felt average. The first night was subtle. I woke up randomly. No nightmare. No loud noise. Just that weird feeling like someone nudged you awake. I blinked at the ceiling, confused. My digital clock read 3:33 a.m. I remember thinking, that's kind of cliche. Then I rolled over and went back to sleep. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. Night 2? Same thing. Eyes snap open. No reason. No sound. 3:33 a.m. Exactly. Down to the second. Now I started noticing something else. The air felt heavier at that time, like the room pressure shifted. You ever walk into a room right after someone's arguing in it? That tension? It felt like that, but silent. By night 4, I wasn't amused anymore. I set an alarm for 3:30 a.m., told myself I'd stay awake and prove it was coincidence. So I lay there staring at the ceiling in the dark, phone in my hand, time creeping forward. 3:31, 3:32, 3:33. Nothing. I almost laughed. See? Brain playing tricks. Then my bedroom door handle slowly turned. Not violently, not shaking. Just a slow, deliberate twist. Like someone testing it from the outside. I live alone. The handle stopped moving. Silence. I got out of bed. Walked to the door. Heart thumping, but trying to act calm. I swung it open. Empty hallway. Lights off. Dead quiet. I checked the front door. Locked. Windows? Locked. No sign of anyone. So I told myself the same lie we all tell. Old building. Metal contracts. Happens all the time. Night 6? It escalated. I woke up before the clock even changed. Like my body knew. I turned toward it. 3:32. My stomach tightened. Then, click, from my closet. Not the door. Inside it. Like a coat hanger tapping against a metal rod. Just once. Soft. Then silence. 3:33. The clock changed. And my closet door creaked open by itself. Now here's the part one don't like admitting. I didn't scream. I didn't run. I just watched. Frozen. Because something about it felt familiar. Not like an intruder. Not like a ghost. More like recognition. The door stopped halfway open. Inside? Dark. Too dark. Darker than the rest of the room. And that's when I heard breathing. Slow. Controlled. Like someone standing in there trying not to be noticed. Hello. I whispered. The breathing stopped. And then, a whisper back. Soft. Barely audible. You woke up. My throat locked. Because that wasn't imagination. That wasn't pipes. That wasn't wind. It had tone. It had intention. The closet door slowly closed again. On its own. And the digital clock blinked. 3:34 a.m. Everything felt normal again. Air lighter. Room quiet. Like nothing had happened. That was the night I installed cameras. Not because I believed in demons, but because I believed in proof. If something was moving, I'd catch it. If someone was breaking in, I'd know. If I was losing my mind, at least I'd see that too. Next night, I didn't sleep. Sat on my bed with the lights off, watching the clock. Cameras recording. Phone ready. 3:32. Silence. 3:33. Every camera feed went black at the exact same second. And from inside my closet, 3 knocks. Pause. 3 knocks back. I didn't move. I couldn't, because deep in my chest, under the fear, under the logic, under everything, there was a memory of being a kid, of knocking on my bedroom wall late at night, 3 times. Pause. 3 times. And something always knocking back. The whisper came again, clearer this time. You remembered. I didn't open the closet. Not that night. Not because I was brave. Because I was thinking. And thinking is dangerous when you're sleep deprived. The camera is cutting out at exactly 3:33 wasn't random. That wasn't wind. That wasn't Wi-Fi lag. All 4 feeds went black at the same millisecond. And when they came back on at 3:34, everything looked normal. Closet closed. Room still. Me sitting there like an idiot, holding my phone. But the audio recorded something. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 knocks back. And then a voice. Not loud. Not distorted. Calm. You left me in here. I replayed that clip at least 20 times. The voice sounded like me. Not identical, but close enough that it made my skin crawl. Like hearing your own voicemail recording and realizing that's what you actually sound like. But this voice was thinner, weaker, tired. I didn't sleep after that. I sat there until sunrise. Because here's the thing about daylight. It makes everything feel stupid. At 7 a.m., I almost convinced myself I'd imagined it. Almost. Until I checked the inside of my closet door. There were scratches. 3 vertical lines, grouped together. And beside them, 3 more. You ever get that cold drop in your stomach when something stops being coincidence? That was the moment. I called in sick to work. Started researching 3:33 a.m. You'll find a lot of garbage online. Demon hour, mocking the Holy Trinity, angel numbers, conspiracy stuff. But one article caught my attention. It wasn't paranormal. It was psychological. It talked about something called REM intrusion, when parts of your dream state bleed into reality. Auditory hallucinations, sleep paralysis, shadow figures, and the most common reported time for sleep disturbances? Between 3 and 4 a.m., because that's when your body temperature drops lowest, when your brain chemistry shifts, when your mind is most vulnerable. So I told myself that's what it was. Stress, lack of sleep, brain misfiring. That explanation felt safer than anything supernatural. Night 8. I decided to test something. Instead of waiting for 3:33, I knocked first. At 2:58 a.m. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 knocks. Nothing. Just silence. I almost felt stupid. Then 3:33 hit, and my closet door burst open. Not violently, but fast, like it had been waiting for permission. Inside the darkness, something moved, not stepping out, just shifting, and the whisper returned. You don't get to control it. That word stuck. Control. This wasn't random. It was responsive. My breathing got shallow. Who are you? I asked. Silence. Then, I'm what you put away. That sentence didn't feel paranormal. It felt personal. Suddenly memories started surfacing. Stuff I hadn't thought about in years. My childhood bedroom. The nights my parents fought. The way I used to hide in the closet when things got loud. How I'd close the door and knock on the wall to distract myself. 3 times. Pause. 3 times. And sometimes I'd imagine someone knocking back. Not to scare me, but to keep me company. The whisper in my apartment continued. You made me small. The air felt heavier again. You made me quiet. Something stepped forward inside the closet. Not fully visible, but shaped. Human. My height. My build. Just thinner. You let me hold it. Hold what? My voice cracked. The night. That word hit harder than anything supernatural. The night. There was a night. One I don't talk about. One I barely remember. Police lights. My mom crying. A door slamming. And me sitting in that closet, knocking on the wall to drown out the noise. You split, the voice said calmly. You survived. My heart pounded. And you? I whispered. I stayed. The lights flickered. Not horror movie dramatic. Just once. But when they stabilized, the figure was closer. Close enough that I could see its face. It was me, but drained. Eyes sunken, like someone who hadn't slept in years. You don't disappear when you bury something, it said. You just move it. My brain started racing. dissociation, childhood trauma compartmentalization, split coping mechanisms. I wasn't being haunted. I was being confronted. Then something changed. The clock glitched. 3:33 blinking repeatedly, not moving forward. Not going to 3:34. Just stuck. You don't get to leave again, it said. And suddenly I realized something horrifying. Every night, I woke up at 3:33. Wasn't random. It was a checkpoint, a crack in the mind where something suppressed was trying to surface. And the more I ignored it, the stronger it pushed. The figure stepped fully out of the closet. Solid, real, standing at the edge of my bed. You can't function without me, it said calmly. You think you're stable? I'm the one holding the panic, the rage, the memory. My throat tightened. What happens if I don't let you out? It smiled faintly. You stop sleeping. And suddenly it made sense. The insomnia I've had for years. The random anxiety spikes. The moments of emotional numbness. That wasn't random mental health noise. That was pressure. The clock finally flipped. 3:34. And the figure was gone. Closet closed. Room normal. But I wasn't. Because now I understood something worse than ghosts. This wasn't something trying to enter. It was something trying to merge. And if I kept resisting, it wouldn't stay in the closet. It would take over the whole apartment. The first switch didn't feel dramatic. No blackouts. No spinning room. No possession movie nonsense. It felt subtle. And that's what scared me the most. The morning after I stepped out of the closet, I woke up on the couch. I don't sleep on the couch. Ever. I remember sitting on my bed. I remember staring at the closet. I don't remember lying down. But there I was. Blanket folded neatly over me. TV off. Front door locked. Phone on the coffee table. 3:33 a.m. Still burned into my brain like a watermark. I checked my security footage. 2:47 a.m. I'm sitting on my bed. 2:58 a.m. I'm still sitting there. 3:12 a.m. I'm standing. But not like normal. Too straight. Too still. Just staring at the closet. 3:18 a.m. I walk toward it. Camera glitches. Static. 3:34 a.m. I'm on the couch. Already asleep. No footage between 3:18 and 3:34. None. Just distortion. My stomach dropped. Because that wasn't sleepwalking. Sleepwalkers looked disoriented. Confused. In the footage before the glitch. I looked calm. Focused. Intentional. I replayed the 3:18 clip 10 times. Right before the camera cut. I smiled. Not a scared smile. Not nervous. Relaxed. Like someone greeting an old friend. That was the moment I understood something horrifying. What if I'm not the one waking up at 3:33? What if I'm the one going to sleep? The thought stuck to me all day. Work felt foggy. People talked. But it sounded distant. Like my brain was buffering. Every now and then, I'd feel this flicker of emotion that wasn't mine. I'd get irritated for no reason. Then calm. Then empty. Like someone was adjusting sliders inside my head. Night 9. I didn't fight it. I didn't set alarms. I didn't turn on lights. I lay in bed and waited. Because now I needed answers. 3:32. The air thickened. That pressure again. 3:33. My closet door opened slowly. And this time, I didn't feel afraid. I felt relieved. You're adjusting, it said. Standing there. Clear. Fully visible. Same face. Same voice. Just hollowed. You let me take the weight last night. My throat felt tight. What did you do? It tilted its head slightly. Cleaned. That word hit wrong. Cleaned what? Memory leakage. I sat up slowly. What does that even mean? It stepped closer. You're not built to carry all of it at once. You fragment. You forget. You panic. I stabilize. You erase. I snapped. It didn't argue. Yes. Silence filled the room. And suddenly I realized something worse than being haunted. I've had entire years where I don't remember feeling anything. Just functioning. Working. Existing. No real highs. No real lows. Just flat. What if that wasn't depression? What if that was him? You're not a demon, I said quietly. No. You're not imaginary. No, you're me. Yes. But which one of us came first? I asked, and that's when it smiled, slow, knowing. You really don't remember. The room felt smaller, walls tighter. You weren't the original, it said calmly. You were the escape plan. Something inside me cracked, because suddenly childhood memories shifted. When my parents fought, I remember hiding. But what if I wasn't hiding? What if I was the part that came after? The part that got to forget? You were built to function, it continued. I was built to endure. My pulse thundered in my ears. So what happens now? It stepped even closer, close enough that I could see my own reflection in its eyes. We integrate. That word again, integration, sounds clinical, healthy, like therapy, but it didn't feel gentle. It felt final. And if I don't, I whispered. Its expression changed slightly, less patient. Then I stopped stabilizing you. My chest tightened, and you unravel. The lights flickered again, not electrical, psychological, like my perception was glitching. For a split second, the apartment looked different. Walls older, paint cracked, carpet stained darker, like I was seeing it through a different memory. You've been dissociating for years, it said. Panic attacks? That's bleed through. Insomnia? That's pressure. The knocking? That's me trying to sink. 3 knocks echoed from inside the wall behind my bed. Not the closet. The wall. 3. Pause. 3. You built compartments. It said, and now they're collapsing. My vision blurred slightly. I felt lightheaded, not from fear, from recognition. There was a night. The night. I remember screaming. Then nothing. Just blank space where something should be. You handed it to me, it said softly, and you walked away. The clock blinked. Still 3:33. Not moving. Frozen. Like time itself was waiting for a decision. What do you want? I asked. It didn't hesitate. Balance. That didn't sound evil. It sounded exhausted. Then it did something unexpected. It stepped forward and placed its hand on my chest. Not violently, not forcefully, just contact. And suddenly, memories slammed back. Police lights flashing red and blue across my bedroom walls. My mother crying in the kitchen. My father being restrained. A scream. My scream. And the moment I whispered into the closet, "Take it." I gasped, fell backward onto the bed. The figure leaned over me. We don't erase it anymore. The clock finally flipped. 3:34. And everything snapped back. Closet closed. Room normal. But tears were streaming down my face. Because now I remembered the scream. And I remembered why I buried it. And the scariest part? For the first time in years, I felt whole. Not calm. Not stable. But real. The integration didn't happen all at once. It started bleeding into my days. And that's when it got dangerous. After the memory came back, the scream, the police lights, my dad being dragged out, I didn't feel haunted anymore. I felt exposed. Like someone ripped insulation out of my walls and left the wiring hanging. Raw, sensitive, every sound too loud, every emotion too sharp. But here's the thing, the knocking stopped for 3 nights. No 3:33 wake-ups, no closet opening, no whispers. And that should have felt like victory. It didn't. It felt like waiting for a storm you know is still forming. On the 4th night, I didn't wake up at 3:33. I woke up at 3:12, standing in my kitchen, holding a glass of water, just staring at the sink. No memory of getting up, no memory of walking there. But I wasn't confused. I wasn't groggy. I felt calm, clear, focused, too focused. I walked back to my bedroom slowly, checked the clock, 3:16 a.m., and for the first time, I realized something terrifying. Maybe 3:33 wasn't when it started. Maybe 3:33 was when I regained control. That thought stuck to me like ice under my skin. Because if that was true, then whatever happened between 3 o'clock and 3:33 wasn't intrusion. It was occupation. The next morning, I checked my cameras again. This time I watched from 2:45 onward. 2:58, I'm asleep. 3:01, my eyes open instantly. Not groggy, not slow, just awake. I sit up, but I don't look confused. I look alert. 3:04, I stand, walk to the closet, open it, and step inside. I never saw that before, because every previous night, the feed glitched at 3:18. Now it didn't. Now it stayed on. And at 3:18, I stepped out. But something was different. My posture, my expression, my walk, it wasn't mine. It was controlled, measured, like someone wearing my body carefully. At 3:33, I stopped in the middle of the room, closed my eyes, and collapsed gently onto the bed. Then the clock changed to 3:34, and I started breathing heavier, like I'd just fallen asleep. I wasn't waking up at 3:33. I was being returned. That realization split me open, because now the story changed. It wasn't something trying to merge. It had already merged. It was taking shifts. That night, I stayed awake intentionally. I fought sleep like my life depended on it. Drank coffee, turned on lights, kept music playing. Midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2:47. I felt pressure building behind my eyes, like gravity was increasing. 2:59. My body started getting heavy. 3:02. My hands trembled. 3:07. My vision blurred. 3:11. My muscles relaxed against my will. And then, black. When I came to, I wasn't in bed. I was sitting on the floor of my closet. Lights off, door closed. No phone, no clock visible. Just darkness and breathing. Not just mine. Shared. You're resisting, the voice said calmly. But it wasn't coming from outside. It was inside my head now. Clear, layered over my thoughts. We don't need to fight anymore. My throat felt dry. What are you doing? Balancing. The darkness didn't feel threatening. It felt familiar, like childhood, like hiding. You were never meant to carry all of it, it continued. You fracture under stress. I don't. My mind raced. If you're so stable, why the knocking? A pause. Because you locked me away again. That hit hard, because after those memories came back, I panicked. I distracted myself. I avoided thinking about that night. I tried to go back to normal. And maybe that was rejection. You weren't the original, it said again. You were the adaptation. My breathing slowed. Then who am I? Silence. Then you're the part that gets to live. Something inside me cracked again, because suddenly it made sense. I don't remember huge emotional reactions growing up. I don't remember processing trauma. I remember functioning, smiling at school, going to work, dating, living, but flat, detached. You were built for survival in daylight, it said. I was built for survival in the dark. I swallowed. So who's real? A quiet answer. Both. The closet door creaked open on its own. Light from the bedroom spilled in. 3:32 a.m. I didn't know how I knew the time, but I felt it, the threshold approaching. You can't keep alternating forever, it said. The walls are thinning. I stood slowly, walked out of the closet. My movements felt shared, like two hands on the same steering wheel. The clock blinked. 3:33. This time it didn't freeze. It didn't glitch. It just held steady. And the mirror across the room showed two expressions at once. My face, and beneath it, exhaustion, pain, anger, grief, layered, not separate, not split, together. What happens now? I asked quietly. We stopped dividing. No dramatic flash, no scream, no possession, just a sensation, like two puzzle pieces grinding together, not perfectly aligned, but pressing, forcing edges to match. Memories flooded in, not just the night, all of it, every suppressed panic, every swallowed breakdown, every time I felt off. It wasn't haunting, it was compression. I fell to my knees, crying, shaking, laughing slightly through it, because for the first time, the knocking stopped completely. No echo, no response, just silence. 3:34. The clock moved, and I was alone in the room, but not empty, not split, heavy, but unified. The scariest part? I don't know which one of us is narrating this now, because I don't feel divided anymore. I feel layered, and sometimes, late at night, right before sleep, I feel the urge to knock. 3 times. Pause. 3 times. But I don't, because there's no one in the closet anymore. And if there is, it's not separate. It's me. People think integration means balance, like 2 puzzle pieces snapping together clean. That's therapy language. That's brochure language. Real integration? It's war. The night we tried to merge, something misaligned. It wasn't dramatic at first. I woke up the next morning feeling off, not fractured, not split, but unstable, like 2 radio frequencies playing at the same time, thoughts overlapping, emotions double-layered. I'd feel calm and furious simultaneously, sad and numb, hungry and nauseous, existing in stereo. The knocking didn't come back. That should have been a relief. Instead, I started hearing something worse. Breathing, not in the closet, not in the walls. In sync with mine, half a second delayed. At work, I'd reach for my phone and stop mid-motion, because a thought that wasn't fully mine would interrupt. Don't. I'd look at my reflection, and sometimes my expression would shift before I meant it to. Subtle, but wrong. 3 days after integration, I lost time. Not sleepwalking time. Not a few minutes. For hours. Gone. I was sitting on my couch at 8:12 p.m. I remember scrolling through my phone. Then, it was 12:47 a.m., and I was standing in my bedroom. Lights off, closet open, breathing steady. No panic, no confusion. Just a horrifying realization. He wasn't knocking anymore. He didn't need to. The next night, I fought it, locked the closet, blocked it with a chair, kept every light in the apartment on. 3:29 a.m., pressure in my skull. 3:31, static in my ears. 3:32, my hands moved without permission, calmly removing the chair, unlocking the closet, opening it. I was aware, fully aware, but not in control, like sitting in the passenger seat of your own body. You're destabilizing. The voice said inside my head, not from outside, not whispered, thought form, clean. You weren't designed to hold all of it. My mouth moved, but I didn't choose the words. You were the buffer. The mirror across the room caught my reflection, and for the first time, I didn't recognize my eyes. They weren't hollow anymore. They were sharp, focused, cold. You're not integrating. I thought. You're replacing. A pause. Then the response. Correction. My body stepped fully into the closet. Darkness swallowed the light, but I could still see, because I wasn't seeing with fear anymore. I was seeing with clarity. Memories flooded in again, but not just trauma. Strategy, adaptation, years of calculated emotional suppression, years of controlling reactions, so we could function. He wasn't the broken one. He was the stronger one. You were always temporary, the voice said calmly. You were created during crisis. The realization hit like a gunshot. I wasn't the original personality. I was the coping mechanism, the daylight mask, the socially acceptable version. He was the core, the one who endured the night. The clock blinked outside the closet. 3:33. No freeze, no glitch, just confirmation. I tried to move. Nothing responded. I tried to scream. Silence. Inside my own head, I was shrinking, compressing, being pushed back. You can rest now, he said. Not cruel, not angry, just final. The last thing I saw before everything shifted was my own reflection in the dark closet mirror, fading, like condensation evaporating. When I walked out at 3:34, the posture was different, straighter, grounded, balanced, no tremble, no static, no overlapping thoughts, just one voice, clear, stable. The knocking never returned, because there was nothing left divided. Weeks passed, work improved, sleep normalized, no panic attacks, no dissociation, No lost time. From the outside, I looked healthier than ever. More confident, more decisive, more present. But sometimes, late at night, right before sleep, there's a faint sensation, like someone knocking from very far away. 3 times. Pause. 3 times. And I almost feel bad for him. The version that thought he was real. The version that thought he was the original. The version that believed he was integrating. But coping mechanisms aren't meant to last forever. They're scaffolding, temporary structures. And once the building stabilizes, you remove them. It's 3:33 a.m. right now. I don't wake up anymore. I don't need to. I don't knock. And nothing knocks back, because the one who used to be afraid is finally quiet.